Hey guys, welcome to ThoughtEngine Labs. This is our second episode and the first of our series on AI. Unlike last time, we will not be talking on random topics. This time, that topic is going to be prompt engineering. And I think we have Yogesh here and we have Akhil.
Thank you for inviting me, guys. And yeah, my name is Akhil, and at the moment, I'm a graduate student at the Northeastern University. I'm pursuing my master's in robotics degree. So yeah, I've been exploring and I've been working in this field of AI more or less for the past, I would say, 5 years. Very excited to be part of this podcast, and let's discuss some very cool ideas in the field today.
Well, Akhil, good to have you here. So, as you know, what we are going to discuss today is it's all about prompt engineering. My question right now is a very simple question. What is prompt engineering and why is it so important for generative AI and LLMs?
This is a question uh, that has come into play only now, only in the very recent past. These words did not exist, let's say, 2 years ago. Prompt engineering. This idea is very specific to the field of LLMs in the era of ChatGPT. The way we interact with software is that we ask this software a question, and the software gives us an answer. So this is a large language model that I'm referring to as a software, and this model is capable of generating answers, generating language. This is the reason why it's called a generative model. So the very specific thing that it is generating is an answer. The answer is to a question that the user has asked. So this is the idea of LLMs, very basic idea. Where prompt engineering comes into play is curating a very to the point question so that the answer is exactly what the user wants. To understand this a bit more, uh, I can say if you ask your friend a question, your friend will give you an answer. When your friend is replying to you, there is some additional thing that is going on. Your friend understands you, who you are, and why exactly are you asking these questions, and some knowledge about what you already know. So he will use all this information to construct an answer. But on the other hand, when you ask an LLM a question, it only knows, the only context the LLM has is the specific question that you've asked. So the reply that you receive from the LLM might not be, it might not satisfy the exact query that you've made. So it's very essential to learn how to curate the question that you will ask the LLM, so that the answer is much more accurate and useful for you. So this idea of curating the question is called prompt engineering. There are other ideas in the area as well, like fine tuning the LLM, or there is a very new term called a retrieval augmented generation. So these are all ideas along the line of getting a very good answer. That is the motive here. So prompt engineering would be one of the very, how can I say, very cheap way to perform this. Cheap as in cheap in terms of financially itself. Is cheap to apply this strategy to align the LLM for your needs.
As he said, if you have a friend, he knows already about you and it knows the context in which it is talking, right? So, but only way the LLM will know the context is through your prompts. The reason is because it is there is a lot of amounts of data which is packed, and it has to clearly find that dense vectors which are very relevant to your context, whatever you're talking. The more the context you give in your prompts, the more related answer is what you get in the end results. At a very basic level, is for you to understand is you need to ground the context which you are going to talk about. So prompt engineering plays a very key role there for grounding the LLM to the topic in which you want the action to be taken by an LLM is very, because initially the LLMs were also very at a very early stage when GPT was initially launched. You had to give a lot of context, a lot of such details what we are trying to talk now. But if you see the later stages right now, there is this O1 and other new models upcoming. So they kind of are now even trained for a lot of other internal prompt optimization mechanisms where you don't have to really give that much amount of context. It is trying to build that reasoning more. The reasoning part of the LLMs is being getting improved so that your context can be as less as possible.
I know we talked about little bit about AI bias previously, and prompt engineering, I think, is a very good way of navigating that AI bias by asking the right question and giving the right contexts for your problem statement. In a more real life way, I was actually at an event last week. The small business, they were presenting on how they were bidding for tenders for contracts, and they were completely using AI with the correct prompt engineered prompts. Basically, they just give the RFQ terms, and which is request for quote, and then they give their capability statement, and the AI considers these two and gives an amazing bid, which has won them a lot of corporate bids as well. This sort of prompt engineering, if people are more into asking the right questions in the right way, I think it's going to increase productivity a lot.
So to give more details about real world cases, so one example which I want to give is, so recently I was in Hackathon. So I was trying to build a web UI application where I have zero knowledge on the web application. I usually use Perplexity for my most of my, because it is directly connected to internet and then I can get responses. Now I'm going to the Perplexity and I'm asking a question. First, I don't ask the entire application to be developed by the AI. That's the one thing which is it's not going to do, because when you ask a very simple application, it's going to do. You're doing something new, innovative idea. Then when you write a prompt, first thing I go do is I write it to write a code with only the core structure. How I'm gonna write the complete vision. So I give my problem statement and application which I want to, my solution, what I'm trying to deal with. So I give a kind of background, problem, and also my vision, what I'm trying to solve, my solution. And I ask it to structurize this so that I can put it in a real world implementation. So then it gives me the first level of answer. From there, I start constructing my each structurized thing into like, I'll take a bit first part and then I try to develop that. So then I'll ask it, so as you wrote in the above code, can you add this feature to that above code? So this is how I continue. So since it remembers the above code, when I ask it to add a certain feature, it clearly adds a feature exactly wherever it's required, and it will rechange, alter the code, and then it will regenerate the code. This is one of my real world example of how I use prompt
So
engineering.
you have used AI for coding, right?
Yeah, AI
Have
for
you,
coding.
yeah, have you found any sort of, let's say, syntax issues or any sort of bugs in the code once you or once you run the code on your compiler?
4 months back, yes, but right now there is very less chances that your code is not gonna work. Very less
What
chances.
is the difference between now and 4 months?
I mean, there is this various LLM evaluation things which is happening on various terms. With respect to coding, also they are trying to improve as much as possible. So when I'm using the recent ones, they are very good with programming. Like, I mean, not like it is completely able to write everything on its own without a prompt, but they're able to give a code which is very functional. I would say like an 80%, 70 to 80% of times, the code is without a syntax error. But that's the thing, when you write a prompt, very complex thing to solve all at once, definitely the code will be not will be having a lot of syntax errors and a lot of issues.
Like right before this podcast, I was trying to convert a C based program into a CPP based program. So I used Perplexity. I fed it around 7 to 8 files of C program. and it very easily converted all of that into CPP versions of the same idea. I tried running it, but there are some compilation issues. But overall, the quality of this code conversion is very supreme, I should say. The basic code, whatever errors there are in this conversion process, this is because I did not feed the entire project. There is no possibility to feed the entire project into Perplexity. I have to feed file by file or
Right.
code by code. So the overall structure, it does not understand the overall structure from the get go. So this could be the reason.
Akhil, I know you are a more technical person in this whole group. So I want to ask you, so there is supervised learning and unsupervised learning, which is both used in LLMs, right? So could you tell us why is it important to uh, have a good prompt for the AI to learn?
First idea, there is supervised and unsupervised used in training an LLM. That is wrong. There is no supervision used.
Okay.
The initial LLM is completely unsupervised. It is only the data that exists. There are no labels. The model is simply trying to predict the next word in the data.
Okay.
So after unsupervised pre-training, there is a little bit of reinforcement learning, so that the LLM aligns towards becoming a chatbot rather than a prediction model. A chatbot that you received, the Chat GPT API that we receive, is a general purpose chatbot. It can perform a language translation, but among many other capabilities, it can also perform this. So there is a mechanism of applying prompt engineering so that we ask the chatbot to behave as a French to Italian translator and restrict its behavior in that specific problem statement. And prompt engineering in this manner can align this chatbot towards that specific behavior. Although the result can be, based on what level of accuracy you expect, the result can be satisfactory or not. That is a different case. There are other ways of aligning such behavior as well.
So does user-generated inputs help the chatbot in learning or not? When it comes to, let's say, LLM models, open LLM models like ChatGPT or Gemini?
Yeah, these large scale models that these giant tech companies are serving to millions of customers, they do collect all the data that they get on a day-to-day basis. Every inquiry that all these millions of users are making to these chatbots are used as data, but the very specific mechanism of how they use this data, or do they online train it, or that is still, I don't think that is revealed yet, how this data that is collected in real time used to again train the model. Yeah, but these days we even receive sometimes we write an inquiry into ChatGPT and we receive two different responses, and the heading is that you are being shown two so that we can collect some feedback on which.
Which is a better response.
Yeah, they have done this initially by paying people and marking the priority, which is this. Now they are doing just as a open to public.
Also, the thing about now regarding the prompts is that, so initially when GPT came, most of the typing was in English. So in China and many other places also, like English is not a very dominant language, even in India also. So now in India, there is like a lot of companies who are developing LLMs completely trained on its own Indic language. So users can write prompts in their own language, and the amount of accuracy in which the response which you are getting from those LLMs is very high when compared to the Western LLMs which we are getting. And also in China, there is like multiple players right now. They are one of the leading LLM creators right now. There's Quen, there's YI Coder, and there's many other LLM providers right now, and they've also open sourced like that. So many other countries, many other people are training more on language particular to their language. The reason is because to get more context in the language where they're typing the prompts in.
Also, one more thing that I want to tell about prompt engineering is soon enough, there's going to be a career called prompt engineer. Now, as engineers, I don't know if we would accept that career as an engineer at all. But what do you guys think about it?
I think it's a wrong use of the word engineering because there is no engineering involved. I think it's more of a prompt hacking to understand what elicits a good response. This career might not be a feasible one because as these bots improve further, the need to create an accurate prompt, that is the main thing that these giant tech companies are focusing on. That whatever the prompt is, the answers are much more verbose and to the point and of better quality. From the chatbot services itself, this particular idea is being addressed. So a career focusing on this might not be a viable idea, I think.
Yeah, agreed on that because the thing is, initially when LLMs were very new, you didn't know how it was responding and what all you could do with that LLM. Right now, there is like a lot more understanding on how the LLM is behaving. Right now, you know exactly what you give and what you get from the LLM. So also there is multi-agent systems. The prompts are pre-written, and there is also a separate research going on in terms of prompt optimization and prompt automating. So they are automating the complete prompt writing mechanism itself and prompt optimization itself. So there is several different researches going on. So taking prompt engineering as a job role, maybe very few people can have it, but I think prompt engineering, everyone in the world should become a prompt engineer or a prompt hacker. Basically, they have to learn how to make their tasks get automated or being done by LLM. Basically, everyone has to start doing their routine jobs, which they are spending an enormous amount of time. Instead of that, they have to start to make it part of their lives, is what I think.
Totally agree with that. So yeah, I think we are at the end of our session for this day. It was really great talking to both of you as usual. Um, and yeah, thanks for all your inputs, and Akhil especially. I think I learned a lot today from you. And I'm looking forward to getting you into our other episodes as well in this AI series. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and see you guys in the next episode.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me. It was very fun to have this discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all. Thanks again. So let's catch up in the next podcast. See you guys. Bye.